Hello folks, you should be here for Math 122, Calculus for Management and the Social Sciences. I'm sure that you'll hear me refer to this as business calculus, so beware. I sometimes call it by two different names. As you can probably guess, this is the fall of 2022, and you are in section, section 3, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 9:30, and you're in the Smith building. That's room number 320, which I haven't seen yet, but it'll be interesting. Okay, let's get rolling here. All right, my name is Dale Saylor. If your schedule says something a little different, it's because Dale is actually my middle name. That's the one I go by. So if you see Owen, that's still me. But don't call me Owen, okay? My office is in the Hodge Center, room 228. Come in the Hodge Center from the library entrance. Go the whole way to the back, just slightly to the right and the whole way back. Make the turn to the right, and my office is the first one on the right. I live in Spartanburg, South Carolina, on the west side. And this is my correct phone number, 864-580-3748. If you have an emergency of some kind that you need to get a hold of me, maybe it's the day before a test, and you need just one more answer, go ahead and call me. That's fine. Now, before we get rolling any further, I've got a different system here, and I have to get accustomed to what I did 4 months ago, and I'm sort of out of sorts in a way. So I have to turn on the pen, and since my background is sort of reddish, I'm going to switch the ink color to black. And check it out here, we're good. Okay, we're good. All right, next, emails. I've got two primary emails that you might want to use. The first one is Sailor O, remember I warned you about that O part, at uscupstate.edu. That's the official one. So this has the official approval, I guess you would say. However, if you really want to get a hold of me and get the best response, use one of my personal ones, sailormath@outlook.com. I see that more times than I have to check the USC Upstate. Both are okay, just the Sailor Math might get you a quicker response, okay? Moving along, here's what the book looks like. There shouldn't be any doubt as to whether this is the correct book because we've been using this for several years. In fact, the last time or two that I taught business calculus, as I'm calling it, at USC Upstate, I used this book. And then when I did some teaching for Wofford the last year and a half and was teaching calculus, I also used this book. So, shouldn't be any doubt there which one to use. I doubt that there's another one for this particular class over at the bookstore. So there's the book. Make sure you've got the book, and hopefully you've got it already. If not, perhaps by Friday. If not, please get it by Monday if you possibly can. All right, we're going to go through a bunch of little details and some special things that you really ought to know. So we're talking about a lot of things showing up on the blackboard. Usually in the blackboard under course documents. So you might keep that in mind too. Blackboard, course documents. At the very top of course documents, and also in the syllabus section, by the way, you'll find the syllabus. You want to find the syllabus and print it out as soon as you can. Carry that with your book or notes or whatever you've got in case you want to refer to it for what the lessons are or what the assignments are. If you print that out, what you'll find is about 2/3 of the way through, maybe half, 2/3 of the way through, it starts showing you what the assignments are by section number. What I'm also going to do is put in those folders for each of the chapters we're going to hit, and in those folders you'll usually find the PowerPoints or slides that I'm going to use to make these lessons. And we're going to talk about where you can find these lessons, because we're going to do the basic lessons online on YouTube, and then we'll spend the class time where I can answer all your questions, and you can actually finish up your homework if you still have some lingering questions about the homework after seeing my lesson video. You'll find much more there perhaps. I'll throw in anything that I find that can help you. And last of all, if you can't find something you think, I bet Mr. Saylor knows something about this, ask me, or maybe you find something and you send it to me, and I'll add it to the course documents for you and everyone else. All right, so let's suppose that you want to get a hold of me and you wonder, is he free right now? Does he have office hours right now? How can I get a hold of him? Well, here's my entire schedule. Monday, Wednesday, Friday. There it is. Lost my cursor there for a minute. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, your class at 9:30 to 10:20, of course. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Nice and early, but not too early. We're over in the Smith building. That's a new room for me. I've never been there before. I've looked in it, but there was a class in there when I looked at it a couple of weeks ago. After your class, I have about an hour, and during that hour, I'll be in my office, Hodge 228, clear at the back, almost as far as you can get away from the library and be in the second floor of the Hodge Center. I'm there for about an hour, not quite, because then I have to head to another class, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. That's in Hodge 256. You don't need to know where that is. Just know that I'm hiding out somewhere doing some teaching. That's college mathematics. It's different from your class, so you can't just drop into that one, start understanding calculus. That's not going to work too well. After that class is over at about 12:20, then it's time for me to head back to the office again, or time for you to drop in. After that, somewhere around 2 o'clock, and I've eaten lunch, I'll head over to room 250 in the Hodge Center, and I've got a second 120 class. Now this one's a little bit different from the other one. The first two classes that I've got Monday, Wednesday, Friday typically are at 9:30 and 11:30. The one I have in the afternoon jumps around just a little bit. On Mondays, it starts at 2:30, so you have to sort of watch out if you're intending to drop by. Just know that this is a little bit goofy in a way. It isn't consistent the whole way through the week. So that class on Monday, a bit on the early side. Tuesday and Thursday, a little bit earlier in the afternoon, and vice versa the other days. On Friday, I don't have that class at all because they meet for so many extra hours. So on Fridays, I have your class, office hours, the other 120 class, and I have office hours. And if no one decides to come, I might just do my Superman act, jump in the phone booth, and go walking or running or something. So let me know if you're coming. That way I won't be somewhere down the hall, okay? All right, So that gives you an idea of what my schedule is like. What you might want to do is back up to where I started this slide, take a screenshot and print that out. That way you know when I'm available or I'm in class and totally unavailable. All right, so how is this thing going to go? Well, this class is a hybrid one, but it means that you get more for your buck, frankly. Each section that we covered will be explained in a YouTube video. So instead of watching the lecture or discussion or whatever you want to call me, go to YouTube. Once at YouTube, search for the Dale Saylor channel. Once you get to the Dale Saylor channel, can't pronounce my own name, look for the playlist, click on playlist, and this is a mistake because this should say you're looking for 122. That's obviously a mistake, but you know where to go. It's 122. Watch the lesson. If it gets halfway in or 1/3 of the way in and you take a notes and your brain is all filled up, hit the pause button. Go have some coffee or something. Come back. As you're watching that video, take notes. Make a list of any questions that I haven't made clear enough because you're going to bring those to class. But even before you get to class, try the assignment. And you can find the assignment lists and what exercises I expect you to try in the syllabus toward the end. At least try the assignment. That way you'll have even more questions to bring to class. When you get to the actual class, then we're going to answer all your questions, spend all the time on your questions. If it's one of those great days and you have all the questions answered that you need, or you don't have any at all, or almost none, you can actually work on your homework during class. That's fine with me. I'm going to get back to those questions in a minute though. The homework, I'm going to collect this as a homework grade. Now the way it's going to work is 1, you have the lesson. It's going to be a video lesson on YouTube. Number 2, you're going to do the assignment and you'll get your questions answered in class. Number 3, so this might be like 3 different days. The lesson that you do on your own, come to class for the questions, that's a separate day. And these will be class sessions right here, the second and the third one. So if you need to ask questions, there's your chance right in class. Maybe some other student can even answer a question for you. By the end of class, we hope that you will have gotten all your answers. Now this right here is a class session. Your homework is going to be due the next class session, not the one where you get a chance to ask all the questions, because you might have some more work to do on your homework. This gives you another 2 days at least before you have to turn in your homework. Oops. Turn in homework. Use schedule number 1. Number 2 is a class session. Number 3 is a class session. Okay, I'm going to collect those as a homework grade, especially at the very beginning. I want you to get off to a good start, get in a rhythm of going through the lectures, getting questions, getting those answered, doing your homework, and turning those in. Make sure your homework has, at the top, your name. You also want to mention that it's Math 1 22, I'm shortening this. And you also might add, or must add, which section it is. So somewhere at the top of your homework, put, okay, I'm doing homework on section maybe 2.3. That way when I look at your homework, I can tell where it's from, what you're trying to do, and where in the grade book to give you credit. Because each homework grade is going to be credit toward your grade. Okay, next. Regardless of what happens, you want to make sure you're in class all the time. If you miss class and we discuss something or answer questions, you're responsible for what goes on in class. You might want to try the buddy system. If you know someone in your class, and they're all nice people, there are 33 other people in this class, so you can certainly find someone that's going to help. So if you don't feel too well and you have to skip a class, you get on the phone. This isn't a very good picture of a phone, but you get the idea. Get on your phone, call your friend or email them, find out what important things went on during the class session so you can keep up with everything. I will take attendance at every class meeting. If you come in a little bit late, make sure you let me know before you leave so I can count you present. And do not leave early. If you leave early, I'm going to count you absent for the entire time, unless you have special permission to leave early. Like if you're going to a USC Upstate football game that afternoon, right? USC Upstate football is undefeated, you know. All right, next. If you need accommodations because you have some kind of special needs, no matter what they are, the university has disability services, and I think that's the correct number, 503-5199. In addition to that, well, first of all, contact them early so they can do something for you. If you wait too long, they might not have a chance to help you. Now, in addition to that, check with me at the same time or even before you check with disability services. Remember that I'm your advocate as well. If there's anything I can do to help you succeed or even do better than you ever expected, I'm going to try to do that. But I can't do it unless you tell me, okay? Next. Now this should make sense to a lot of you. Classroom behavior, be on time, find the seat, have your paper and pencil out ready to take notes. I would suggest a pencil if you can, because then you can erase. Maybe a mechanical pencil. Stay in class until we are finished. I say we're finished. Stay alert during the class. Don't fall asleep. I might be boring, but that's no excuse, okay? Turn off cell phones or beepers if beepers still exist. Try not to talk to your peers while the instructor or other students are speaking or asking questions, please. Now, if someone asks you a short question, you can say, oh yeah, 16, or whatever it is. Okay, that's fine, because we're all working toward the same goal. Use good manners, be courteous, act with decorum toward your peers and me. Yes, me too. I'm a person. Ask questions anytime at all, especially in class. If you have a question that you think is more immediate, you can email me, sailormath@outlook.com probably, or the official email. Either one is fine. If it's a last minute thing, maybe tomorrow's the test, you might feel you need to call me. That's fine too. I'm here for you. The work that I have is expected on the date it's due, and you'll see that in the syllabus. Now it isn't 100% that that's the date. If, for example, section, let's say 2.3 turns out to be extremely difficult, we might take 2 class sessions on it instead of just 1. The dates are just guidelines. They're not set in concrete. Make sure you do those neatly and in pencil. Why? Well, in pencil so you can erase, done neatly so if I look at it and I notice something that I need to tell you about to adjust whatever your thinking is, I can figure out what it is. If it's not done neatly, I won't have a clue what the dickens you're doing. Number 9 on this list. You'll need a scientific graphing calculator, and you can use anything you want for a graphing calculator, frankly. However, there are 2 that are on the top of my list. If I were buying you a calculator, I would probably buy you one of these 2, and these are the 2 that I can support. Answer almost any question you have. First of all, the TI-84 Plus CE. It's a fantastic calculator, good price. You can't go wrong with that. You can also probably easily sell it if you decide you won't need a calculator anymore, because a lot of students use that calculator, both here and in high school, I suspect. The second calculator that I would recommend is the TI Inspire. Now, keep in mind that there are 2 TI Inspires, the latest versions. There's a CAS version and a non-CAS version. Now, you could get either one, but what I'm suggesting is that if you like the TI Inspire, or maybe you have a friend that has one, and you'd like to go that route because it is a great calculator, I would suggest go with the non-CAS version. The main reason for this is that if you go to sell it later, or you loan it to someone, people will more likely want a non-CAS calculator than the CAS version. Also, if you go to sell it, especially to a high school student who will be taking tests like the SAT and ACT, they can't use a CAS version. Only the non-CAS version is allowed on a lot of standardized tests. So if someone's looking for one and you have a CAS, you just lost the sale. Last of all, very important, we are a team, and I expect you to work with me, and that's part of what your questions are about. Working together, you can be successful. I hope that I'm going to be successful, but the goal is for you to have a good semester. Next, we want things with the best environment in the class. If you notice something in the class that's bothering you, maybe someone is clicking their fingers all the time, or something that's bothering you, keeping your learning from working at 100%, let me know, and I'll try to make some kind of an adjustment. I'm available by email, that's the sailormath@outlook.com, as well as the sailoro@uscupstate.edu. The reason I prefer the email is because if I'm answering a question, it gets to be a bit long. If you really made a mistake and tried to text me, I would have a very, very difficult time trying to answer a long question with just a few characters. It just doesn't work very well. So don't text, email, or call if you have to, but don't text, please. If you need some other arrangement, that's fine with me. I've got plenty of office hours. I'm usually in before those classes begin, so that's a time available. Just check with me to arrange an appointment. That way, if you need me to be there at 10:45 or something, I can make sure that at 10:45 I'm not up the hall talking with someone, okay? Just check with me first. And last on this list is about announcements. There are two ways you might have announcements coming from me. One is on Blackboard. Blackboard has an announcements feature, and I might send something by that method. Or I might send it to you directly by email, especially if I want some kind of an attachment. Maybe I find some kind of cheat sheet or whatever you want to call it, and I think, wow, this is a nice list for calculus. This is just what they need for Chapter 2. I'll dash it off to you as soon as I think of it. So check the Blackboard announcements and your email daily. Keep in contact, please. Now we'll get to the hard stuff. Well, not really. Assignment number 1. Okay. Piece of cake. Write a paragraph about yourself. What you're doing is pretend like you're sitting down next to me in my office and you're just chatting away. What are your hobbies? Where did you go to school? All kinds of things. Just have fun with the darn thing, okay? And I'm going to give you a grade for it. That doesn't look like a G. It's supposed to be a G. You will get a grade for that. Remember, it's a typed copy. I want to be able to read it, so that's why it has to be typed. When you have it typed up, print it out, bring it in the class, or bring it to my office next Monday. And Monday, as I see, is the 22nd of August. So bring it to class or bring it to my office. At the same time, send a copy to Sailor Math. Now, why do I ask for that in addition? Well, maybe there's something in your paragraph and I think, gee, I want to chat about that. So maybe there's somewhere you've been and I want to send you a longer message. I can just dash off an email, just hit reply, send you what I want, and we can maybe exchange a few interesting emails. Maybe we've both been to Harbor Island at San Diego or somewhere. Or maybe you're a runner and you ran a certain race. Maybe I did 2 years ago. Whatever. I just want an opportunity to hit reply and chat with you a little bit. Okay, assignment number 2. Now, this isn't exactly in concrete. This, actually, I'm going to have to revise this. So listen to what I say, not what I printed. So, chapter number 1 is going to go like this. There are 6 sections. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now the ones I'm going to cover explicitly, as in class, are sections 5 and 6. Now what about 1 through 4? Well, 1 through 4 are a good review. So first of all, you might want to take a look at what's in 1 through 4. You can scan it, see, oh yeah, I remember that, or what in the dickens is that? If you don't go through there and you think, oh yeah, I've seen all that before, I can do that in my sleep, fine. Then you can start with 5 and 6 and you'll be in great shape. Now if you do think that you might have difficulty with anything that's in the first 4 sections, I actually have something for you. Last year when I was teaching the same class basically at Wofford, I made videos for all 4 of these. And I'm going to post those on your YouTube playlist. So if you see something in section 2 and you think, I'd better review this thing, you can go to that playlist for 122, look at that video. You'll be able to tell by the name of the video what it is and find out about it. And of course, as always, you can bring those questions to class. If you want to have an idea of what exercises might be good ones for you to use for practice, let me know, and I'll give you a couple of numbers that'll give you a hint on what to get some practice for, so you're ready for the 5 and 6. All right, I think that is about it. I have left out one particular item. I thought I had it in your slides here, but apparently I haven't put it here yet. This is something new that I developed last semester, and you might say experimented with the Wofford students. Don't tell them I said that. J1Q. Now I'll give you the background for this so you know what it represents and how I got it. J1Q stands for, and I'm not going to write it out, you can write this out. It stands for just one question. Now the background or the history on this is that I was watching a podcast, and the particular podcaster has this system where he does a podcast for 15-20 minutes, and about 2/3 of the way through the podcast he says, now it's time for J1Q. And you're thinking, okay, what is J1Q? Well, what he does is he looks at or picks out one question that someone sent in to him and answers that question in the last third of the podcast. Well, I was thinking back in January, why don't I adapt this for my students? Because I would like them to make sure that between classes they don't ignore calculus altogether. I want you to think about calculus, not 24 hours a day, but with our Monday, Wednesday, Friday class, on Tuesday you shouldn't totally ignore calculus. That's an insult to Newton, right? So what I want you to do is think about it in the middle, and the way J1Q works for my class is, let's see now. Tomorrow's Friday, if you see this tonight, or whatever day it is. So you're going to watch a video, and when you come in the class on Monday, the next class day, you have to have at least one question ready to go. Because what I'm going to do in each class is I'm going to, and I know this is scary, but I'm going to call on you. Here's my eyeball on you. I'm going to take a look at you and say, you, what's your question today? And if you don't have one ready, you're in a little bit of trouble, and I'll get to that in a second. All you need is just one question every time you come into class. About math, about calculus typically. That's all you need. Now, the way it works is this. So, regardless of the fact that we probably should not be working for a grade, you know that everyone is concerned about what their final grade will be. Well, J1Q starts off like this. At the beginning of the semester, right this instant, you got 5 points already on your final grade. But you have to keep it. That's the catch. And J1Q is how you keep it. Because when you come into class, if I call on you, you have to have a question to ask. If you don't have the question, no question, then you lose one of those 5 precious points. You don't want to lose those points. That would mean if you did that 5 times, you'd be down to a maximum possible for the semester of 95 points. That's not good. It's better to think of it in terms of you got 5 free, and I'm not going to lose it because every day in class I'm going to have one question ready. If you have more questions about that, please ask tomorrow if you've seen this tonight, or whenever you need to. Monday, maybe you'll ask another question. Okay, that's J1Q. Every day in class, you have to have prepared just one question. I'll give you a tip that I saw from the Wofford students. What they would do is between classes, they would write some questions on a piece of paper, bring it in with them to class. That way, if I said, "Hey, George, what's your question today?" If they don't have one at the tip of their tongue, they can pull out their piece of paper and say, "My question for today is, how do you take the derivative of a logarithm?" And you're off the hook for the day. If I call on you a second time, you're still okay. But you have that one question at least, okay? That's the way it works. Next, what I've done, and this is totally unofficial, remember, this is not official, but for me, the way Upstate puts together their exam schedule that you see on the internet is a little bit on the confusing side. You have to wade through a lot of things to find out when your grade, or when your final exam is. So I've created this one. If you want, you can backtrack so you have a clean screen here. Take a screenshot of this, print it out, and put it in your notebook. And that way you can circle the times that you have finals, and you can double check to make sure you don't have any conflicts too. It usually doesn't happen, but it doesn't hurt to check. Well, I've run out of things to say. Aren't you glad? All right, I think we're about ready to do it, folks. So, let's look at that fascinating world of calculus. We're going to look at a little bit of Newton, but basically the calculus. And don't forget, Newton wasn't the one who invented calculus by himself. There was another person. So you know how to spell Newton's name. That's pretty easy. The other person to invent calculus at basically the same time was a gentleman named Leibniz in, I think it was Germany. Now, unfortunately, Newton, although he probably invented it first, he didn't publish it, so no one else knew about it. Also, there's the fact that Newton and Leibniz actually came up with different notation. So during the semester, what you'll see is sometimes I'll use Newton's notation, sometimes Leibniz's notation. Depends on which one I think would fit your style a little better. All right, that's it for tonight. I'll see you on Friday morning. As soon as I put this on YouTube, I'm going to send a message to you. Go run to YouTube. You might also want to subscribe to my channel. That way, when something new is posted, you'll know that there's a new lesson available. Well, as my mother would say, keep smiling.